Hello, this is Spence, the evil genius from Widget Laboratory, here to announce our newest product, Lab Cards. Lab Cards are our first member widget, and they allow you an incredibly viral way to share photos, music, and messages that are personal to all the people you care about. Let me show you how to install it, set it up, and make it fun for yourself. First of all, let me give you an example of how Lab Cards work. It's a multimedia experience where you can share cards and then embed them on any site you have across the internet. It does not have to be Ning. It could be anywhere on MySpace, Facebook, Bebo, iGoogle, or even your own hosted web page. When you use Lab Cards, you can see that it gives you a kind of slide along experience. The cards are like a stack, and you can move backwards and forwards. The cool thing about it is that if you notice here, each card has the possibility of a personal message as well as music. Any audio file will do, so you could also attach some verbal. Now the cool thing about Lab Cards is it does not require any install on your part, and it's a very viral widget because it allows you to grab it from somebody else's code and then paste it wherever you wish. Lastly, you can actually send a lab card to somebody without going to an installation page if you've already signed up for this program. Let me show you from the beginning how it works. First of all, here in the lab cards themselves, if I go to the first page, you'll see that we've got two buttons at the bottom, Get a Lab Card for Your Profile and Send Me a Lab Card. Starting with Get a Lab Card for Your Profile, when I click on this will allow me to go to the setup page and configure this for my particular page. It could be a one-stop shop, or I could put it on multiple pages. It's the same embed code. Second button is Send Me a Lab Card. That's if I wanted to send a lab card to this particular individual. Say I was visiting a friend's site. If I saw that they had lab cards, I could click on this button and send them a personal message. I'm going to show you both of these options, but let's start with getting a lab card from my profile. I click on this button, and it's going to take me to an initial setup page where I can get the code. There's two choices here, Get Embed Code and My Lab Cards. Get Embed Code is what we're going to use right now. The My Lab Cards is where I would go after I've already received lab cards, and I can administer those that I have. I can delete them, and I can even see what the messages are in a different format. Let's start with getting the embed code. All that one needs to do is click on this, and I can then click in the box. It highlights itself. I right-click and say Copy. Now, I'm going to take this code, and I'm going to put it on a page where I've never had the lab cards installed before. Very simple. Let's use Ning as an example. I have a sample site here that would represent my member text box, or it could represent another page that I've got in notes, or a comment wall, or anything that will receive a flash embed. What I do is now click on Edit, right-click into the box and say Paste, and I can change the name of this text box if I wish to something like My Lab Cards. Now, I've already had lab cards sent to me, so when I install this, it'll show with what I've already received. If this is a new installation, the only thing that you would see is the beginning page, which is standard for everybody. Now, let me show you the second feature on this, which is Send Me a Lab Card. If I wish to send a lab card to somebody else, as I say, I can click on this button here, and it'll give me a question as to whether I've already used this feature before. If I have, I can sign in and then send that person a lab card. If I've not, I can sign up. When I sign up, it's very simple. We only ask for an email address and a name, and that's it. Fairly standard stuff. The reason that we need that information is it's the only way for us to store the data on whose photo belongs to whom. In this particular case, since I'm already a member, I'm going to sign in. Once I've logged in, I have a couple simple choices. First of all, there's three things to do. 1, upload a picture. 2, type my personal message. And 3 is, if I wish, optionally, I can attach an MP3 or other audio file. Has to be in an MP3 format, but it could be, for example, verbal text of some kind that I make for this particular purpose. Now, first, uploading a picture. I go on Choose File. I'm going to go to my desktop, and I'm going to choose this particular card here. I then click on Upload. And I type a personal message. Hi, from Evil Genius. Now in this case I'm sending it to myself, so it's just by way of example. But remember, the message you're sending is to the person who is going to receive this lab card from you. And lastly, I can link to an MP3 file. Now these have to be MP3 files that are already hosted somewhere on the internet. We have a couple sites that we enjoy, but one of them is called grabb, grabb.it. I right-click on it to get the link code location. I go back here to my setup screen. and I paste it into the box where it says link MP3 file. I now click on save, and I'm good to go. I've now created a lab card for my friend. You can see that here's the new lab card. It says hi from Evil Genius, and I've got music attached. Very, very simple. Now, one more time, just to show you, when I go back to the home page, we see this lab card was embedded. I can go ahead and actually send this person another lab card, or I could get my own lab cards right from here. Again, self-perpetuating, very viral, and your members can share it amongst themselves. Let me show you one last feature of lab cards, and that's the My Lab Cards link. If we're in the Lab Cards tab, you can see here that there's a link for My Lab Cards. When I click on it, I'm taken to a screen that shows me all the lab cards that I have. I can scroll through them and see all the messages in a much more clear fashion, and if I wish to do so, I can delete a card. It gives me a warning dialog, and I say yes, and it's okay. I can also review some of the music if I happen to enjoy the songs that were sent to me. I can click right here, and it takes me to the original file. This has been a quick preview of lab cards from WIDGETLABORATORY.com.